What you're about to see was called impossible by top military experts. 8 $500 drones just shattered a multi-billion-dollar defense grid.
At 0534 hours local time, a massive explosion tore through the Vladislavka area on the Crimean Peninsula, visible from the coast 8 miles away. Columns of black smoke rose into the sky, reaching 350 feet high, and 60,000 liters of fuel along with 75 tons of ammunition and weapons had gone up in flames. But what made this attack completely different from every other strike you have ever seen? It was speed and distance.
Think about it. Standard drones drop signal after just 3 miles, but these pilots were pushing 25 miles deep into heavily defended enemy territory without losing control. How? Let me break it down for you.
The Russian supply train had been moving deep inside the Crimean Peninsula. It was protected by air defense systems that were supposed to make it untouchable. 8 Ukrainian pilots were about to prove that nowhere in Crimea was safe anymore, and that Ukraine would encircle and isolate it. And they would do it with drones, cheaper than an old used car. 25 miles away, members of the Security Service of Ukraine, the SBU, were watching distorted video signals through video transmitter systems that were never supposed to work at this distance. 8 FPV drones were using speed to overcome distances that every Russian military expert had called impossible, within a range of 3 to 20 reach 20, and were still pushing farther. Behind the attack formation, Ukraine's Defense Intelligence Director, the GUR, continuously provided real-time updates on the train's position. At the same time, SBU units intercepted Russian communications, monitored the reactions of the security forces, and assessed the level of electronic interference around the target. If the signal was choked off, the next team was ready to activate anti-jamming equipment to punch through the electromagnetic curtain.
Suddenly, the image on the control screen began to flicker. There was heavy static and complete signal loss. The attack drone had lost contact.
First Warog TRN, the critical relay drone, that made this 25-mile long-range strike mission possible, had just been destroyed. This is the greatest challenge of extreme long-range drone operations. Ukrainian forces use VTX video signal transmitters on the 5.0 GHz band because they have almost no latency. Digital signals may be easier to expand, but a 220 millisecond delay makes precision strikes almost impossible when an FP might mix to a feet, hitting the place where the train have just been. That is why Ukraine still uses the 5.8 GHz VTX system, even though it means they must position vulnerable Warog TRN relay drones every 5 kilometers.
The SBU device operator stared at the screen. 3 seconds passed, then 5 seconds. Then the backup relay activated.
Second Warog TRN had been flying at a lower altitude, only 700 feet. That made it harder to detect, but it was 2 miles away from the optimal position. Signal strength dropped to 50%, causing the video image to shake, distort, and cut in and out, but it was enough. And 60,000 liters of fuel, along with...
But this was not a solo operation. Multiple specialized units were coordinating in real time.
Intelligence teams had tracked this train for weeks, learning the exact position of its fuel and ammo cars. Each team had a clear role: controlling drones, tracking intelligence, and punching through enemy jamming. Ukrainian strategy deployed 3 relays at different altitudes to prevent a single missile from taking down the link. The second backup flew at just 330 feet, hugging the ground to remain invisible to air defenses. Operators spent over 200 hours in simulators, mastering flight controls under severe signal loss. Flying through heavy static, pilots relied on memory and landmarks like rivers and tracks to navigate. As the lead drone pushed 15 miles deep, it headed straight into Russia's powerful Pole 21 jamming system. GPS coordinates jumped wildly off course, turning true flight paths into meaningless curved lines. The operator instantly switched to manual control, flying purely by sight through whatever frames remained. Ignoring fake coordinates,
The pilot locked his eyes on the railway line and tree belts below.
The remaining drones followed at precise intervals. Ukraine activated a powerful counter-EW transmitter, blasting through jamming to restore critical video feeds.
Transmitting made the Ukrainian signal position light up on Russian radar like a beacon in the dark.
At 20-25 seconds, operators cut power and relocated, dodging incoming artillery fire with seconds to spare. Dropping to 180 feet, the drone hugged the steel railway tracks, using them as an unjammable guide. Only 6 miles from the supply train, Russian air defenses turned urgently to face the incoming attack. Ironically, Russia's own jamming network tracked drone telemetry and fed lock-on data straight to Pantsir radars.
8 fast decoy drones surged ahead, cluttering Russian screens and tricking radar target computers. Tricked by decoys, the Pantsir system fired 8 missiles sequentially into the low sky.
Missiles destroyed the decoys, allowing 4 warhead-carrying FPVs to streak cleanly toward the target.
Out of missiles, air defense crews switched to dual 30mm automatic cannons firing 5,000 rounds per minute.
Pilots slammed drones down to 30 feet, slipping beneath the cannon's minimum engagement altitude. Skimming grass at 90 miles per hour, pilots maneuvered past power lines and trees, where any mistake meant instant destruction. Just 3 miles away, the supply train blew its horn and accelerated, desperately trying to escape. Onboard jammers activated, wiping GPS signals, while the locomotive pushed full throttle toward a bridge ahead. 2 fast decoy drones surged ahead of the train, discovering a concrete railway bridge 3 miles down the track. Changing plans instantly, an armed FPV accelerated to 100 miles per hour and dove straight into the main bridge support joint. The RPG-7 warhead detonated, violently shifting the steel bridge deck and breaking the rail line ahead.
Seeing the broken bridge, the driver slammed on emergency brakes, locking wheels in a shower of sparks.
With the train stranded, operators selected fuel car number 4 and ammo car 12 as primary targets.
Panicked Russian guards jumped from the cars, firing rifles into the air as FPVs made their final dives.
The first FPV struck fuel car number 4, sending a molten jet into 80,000 liters of diesel fuel. Seconds later, the second drone plunged into ammunition car 12, tearing the hull open in a blinding flash. Flying blind through fire and smoke, the third drone struck car 14, triggering a massive chain reaction.
Mass explosions swallowed the train, destroying 560,000 liters of fuel and 725 tons of ammo in seconds.
The attack paralyzed Crimea's vital supply line, cutting off fuel and shells before reaching the front.
Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like experts. 8 $500 drones just shattered a multi-billion-dollar defense grid.